Before I show you how to finish the back, I wanted to talk you through what you'll need in order to finish the back. You'll need your embroidery hoop. I normally choose the same size as the hoop that I've been working with, so in this case I'm using a 7-inch embroidery hoop. You'll need your fabric that you'll use to finish off the back. I tend to go for a wool-fed fabric. I just like how it looks and how it feels. You'll want to choose a size or cut a size that is just slightly larger than the area that you're going to fill. Then you'll want a pen, a Sharpie or a black pen, to trace out your hoop size. Some thread. I like to match the fabric that I'm going to use, but you don't have to necessarily. You'll need some scissors as well, and last two things that you'll need are some pins to hold the fabric in place when you sew it, and you'll also need a needle. First, I'm going to draw out the circle before I cut the felt fabric, and I'm going to use the inside hoop of the embroidery hoop to do that. So that's done. Next step is to cut the circle out. So I've got my circle cut out, and I just wanted to show you that there is some black pen running through the back, but it doesn't matter because you can just sew it with that side facing the back of your work. So the next step is to place your work within the embroidery hoop. I would just gently place the work on top of the inside of the hoop, and then place your outer hoop in, and then just gently pull on the fabric until you're happy that it's tight enough, and then just screw the clasp shut. Once you're happy that your fabric is tight enough, then I would move on to the next step, which is cutting out excess fabric. So I would leave about an inch and a half of fabric all the way around your hoop. Next, we're going to gather this fabric with a simple slip stitch. So I use sewing thread, but I'm sure that you can use embroidery floss or any other thread that you've got lying about. And I double up on the thread so that I've just got two threads, just to make it a little bit more secure. And what I would do is sew the same stitch a couple of times just to make sure that the thread is secure, like that, and then it's just a simple slip stitch all the way around. And I would sew the thread about halfway or 2/3 of the way into the fabric, and you'll see that as you start sewing that your fabric will begin to gather. Once you've gone all the way around, just tug on your thread to make sure that it's as gathered as it can be, and then secure the thread by sewing a couple of stitches like you did before, and then just tying a knot, and then you can cut your thread, and we're ready to move on to the following step. Before sewing the felt fabric onto the back of your work, I recommend pinning it down. It just makes it that little bit easier. The next step is to sew the felt fabric onto the back of your work. I am using the same sewing thread that I was using before, and I'm using 2 strands again. So similar to before, I would sew a couple of stitches in the same place just to secure that thread to the back of your work before starting to sew. Then once you've done that, it's a simple stitch, so I just sew through the felt fabric back into the monk's cloth and back into the back into the felt fabric. So do this all the way around, and if you find that you run out of thread, what you can do is the same as you've just done. So I would sew a couple of stitches on the monk's cloth and hide the tail behind the fabric, and then do the same with your new thread. Once you've sewn all the way around, you then want to secure your stitches. So what I do is I just go over a couple of the stitches from before, and then also sew a couple of stitches into the monk's cloth, and also sew a couple of stitches into the monk's cloth. And then you can either tie a knot here and cut the thread off, or what I tend to do is I just sew into the middle of the hoop, or in slightly, pull the thread through, and then just snip the thread there, and it just hides it quite nicely. So there you have it. It's secure and it's nicely finished. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions at all, then leave a comment in the comments box below. And if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye.